Well, my name is Tania Doko. You may know me from Bachelor Girl, who is currently still working and touring. I am also a solo artist, and I mean that quite poignantly now because I've just released first single and a second single and an EP that is imminent. But mostly I am a mother. The mummy tasks and the everyday tasks take up most of my life.
How's the balance between being a mum and working in the music industry?
Honestly, not great.
Why?
Because I feel that it's an illusion that you can actually strike the balance. I'm touring with Bachelor Girl and I'm also touring myself and releasing my EP. So I've resigned in a somewhat positive way that it's intense right now. But this is not sustainable. Like, I can't keep doing this for another year at this pace. So I just put all the supports in. And then at Christmas time, I'll just fall on my face. I mean, I started making music properly at 18, and I'm now 49. That's 31 years.
Wow. That's amazing. So cool.
Thank you. And as I say it is amazing because the only reason why I think it's amazing is because I'm committed to the why, like why I'm doing it. It's not for accomplishment's sake. It's when I start to feel stressed or my nervous system is going bananas, it's not worth it. Life is so incredibly precious that then something has to come out of the schedule, or just because this is what you do for social media, you don't have to run that game.
Yeah.
You get to say how you run it. There is this narrative to put a song out a month because of algorithms and everything.
Okay.
Whilst I'm mindful of algorithms, I think it's very dangerous to play that game alone. You will burn out.
Yeah.
And I'm here for the long game. Yeah, I'm incredibly lucky that I can draw on all that older stuff and have newer clothes to wear as well.
Yeah.
Newer messages that are so unbelievably recent too, in the last couple of years, to say what I want to say. But I can still relate to buses and trains. It's just that I'm not getting hit by the bus and the train are no longer negotiating, navigating relationships with guys that were no good for me.
Yeah.
They might be about moving country, trying to reconcile not having great Swedish over in Sweden, moving back to Australia and what that was like during COVID. Boy, did that feel like getting hit by a bus,
Yeah.
walking under a bus. You can extrapolate it to so many obstacles in life. I think that's why that song, credit to James, was relatable to an 80-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
When we were no longer putting records out back in 2005, my whole adult life I'd been signed to a major record company. So you don't realise how much you identify with that external reference. I am signed, therefore I am worthy. Well, that's not the case. And, most of us are independent these days. I mean, that's turned on its head in a big way, and it's an incredible thing that a lot of us are independent and we get to have a say. But back then, it was very easy to feel like damaged goods.
How did that feel, and then how did you work through that?
Well, it didn't feel good. It felt as if the dream evaporated, because, again, the industry was under a lot of pressure and not all of us could stay on the record company. So we were victim to that. Having said that, I'm not going to play the blame game. I'm not interested in that, and it doesn't serve me to think that way. But how it felt then, because I'd never been independent, as in artist-wise from a record company, felt very foreign. And I realised too how fortunate I was years after to even have that, because of course, not every artist can say they've played the major record company game. And we had, so that was pretty amazing, and we got to travel the world. Of course, it's a bit like, you know, if you don't do that well in high school and it's your whole world, and you didn't get into college or university and you think your life's over and the world's going to implode, and it's not. You will find another way. Life is full of highlights and rejections, all of them, you know. It ain't, you know, roses and tulips and butterflies and roses all the time.
What is something you wish you knew at the beginning of your career?
That's such a big question. I would have said, make sure you're a real stand for this piece of work and that you love the shit out of it, because this will be with you for a long time. However, and this is conversely, pick the hills you want to die on. Like, if you fight everything, you'll last one day in the music industry too. I remember being called about a certain song being the certain next single, and I didn't agree, but I felt the weight of that decision on me to say yes. Turns out I think I was right, you know. My mum says, there's a time to spend and a time to save. And she doesn't just mean money.
Yeah.
She means expending energy and saving.
Yeah.
Or choices or just being, you know, abstaining. Okay, that's fine, have that one. You see? And that is the trickiest thing in life, I think. Which are the ones that you are non-negotiables and which are the ones that I'm fine to let it go.
Yeah, and staying true to yourself within all of it.
Yep.
So tell me about Support Act. Where did Support Act come into your life and when?
Well, I started to talk to Support Act in Melbourne quarantine when I thought I was going bananas. You know, they're calling you up downstairs, checking on your mental health, and then a friend of mine said, okay, why don't we talk to Support Act, because this is actually very costly emotionally and financially on your family because of immigration and the quarantine bill. Spoke to a lovely social worker at Support Act. I'll never forget those conversations, just so assuring that, of course I was not alone in that feeling, but that established artists were feeling very isolated and alone and feeling like they were going crazy as much as emerging artists. That's in that sense, we were all in it together. I ended up speaking to them a lot, and they helped me with grants and just helped so many of us in that year. There's a lot of us out there playing again, but it's still tough because behaviour has changed. The nature of buying tickets has changed. People buy very last minute. Venues get nervy. Artists get nervous too. So yeah, it's not over. It's just the aftermath.
It's
the aftermath.
So big.
It's the aftermath, and we need Support Act forever.